Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
It's time for 5 questions.
5 is right up.
Man, let me ask you something.
I got a question.
Right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
You don't have to answer the question.
I'll answer the question.
900 AM Nashua.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth. Calm down.
1250 AM Manchester.
What did you say?
And ESPNNewHampshire.com.
Thank you for all your cooperation.
Third and final hour here on the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire, ESPNNewHampshire.com. Ashish Sharma, Brian Roach, David Pollard, and Mark Lozelle here with you. Call number is 603-883-9900. You can also text us at 50352. Heading into commercial, Mark was still laughing about the Bethel Johnson thing from That's BS.
Well, because he's so arrogant. He's not good. He's not Richard Sherman. He can't back up his talk.
Maybe Bill Belichick should sign him and see, like, hey, back up your talk. Maybe we'll win now that you're here. It was there 3 years, 1-2. Well, anyways, what do you get?
Yeah.
It's time for 5 questions. Just like last week, Dave had it. This week, it is Mark. Mark, take it away. You got 5 questions.
Alrighty. Yeah, so since this past week was basically my birthday week, and last night was fun too, a band called Dr. Slick. You should check them out on Facebook.com/Dr. Slick. They were a great band to check out last night, and it was my birthday. So with that, guys, what was your best birthday celebration and why?
Ooh, all right. So I'm actually taking an answer from last week's 5 questions that Brian gave. Blue Man Group definitely was my best birthday celebration.
That's mine.
Wow.
Good
Listen,
gosh.
It wasn't the same question.
I went on my birthday.
Is Blue Man a sponsor? We should get them.
We're talking
Listen,
about them a lot.
Seriously, Blue Man Group was mind-blowing the first time I went and saw it.
Did you
I
get your
think it
birthday
was-
mentioned on the...
No, I don't think so.
Ah.
I forget. It was an ex-girlfriend of mine back in high school. I saw it when I was 17. She set the whole thing up, and it was awesome. Blue Man Group. First time I ever
haven't
went
seen
and saw
them
it.
yet. I gotta see it.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's an experience like no other, man.
Oh, yeah.
Ashish. Go ahead, bud.
I'm trying to think what my most memorable one was. I mean, obviously everyone goes
21st.
for when you're 21, obviously going out and actually having a legal drink. Not the first drink, the first legal one. That's the one that comes to mind. But I'm gonna go all the way back to when I was 14. I remember I kind of had a low-key birthday celebration with just some family, and we got one of those, groups of candles, the ones that don't blow out right away. You blow it and it relights.
Yeah.
We put them too close together, and my cake caught on fire. Like, we couldn't put it out. I blew it, and it just came back, and I was like, okay, this isn't working.
That's your most
And then-
memorable.
It has to be, yeah.
celebration.
We ended up actually throwing the cake in the sink. And I remember my little cousin was with
Did
me,
you
and he was
still
just
eat it?
laughing his ass off. No, he just found it so funny. He was just like, "That's hilarious."
I would
You
still
have to throw
eat
your
that
cake.
cake.
No, it's all burned and stuff. Like the candles just
Hey,
kind
it's,
of like caught
it's just
fire.
like
and-
s'mores. Come on. You can
Yeah.
put marshmallows on
Hey,
fire.
maybe just a roasted cake.
If I'm hungry, I'll eat anything, you know?
Yeah, so I just remember that's to this day probably one of the most memorable birthdays I've ever had. We
What
didn't
ki-
have cake that day. We had to do something else.
What kind of cake was it?
It was a chocolate cake.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
burnt from the
It's a fire
start.
cake.
Yeah, it was like it was exactly. It caught on fire. I think we actually caught it on video, which is hilarious because my mom was taping, and we just threw it in the sink and no
It
cake
turned
that day.
into marble cake after the debris got on
Yeah,
it.
so that was my most memorable birthday celebration.
Okay, awesome. So the pro.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Who was talking about you?
Aaron, I'm talking. No, so the Pro Bowl's tomorrow, and the NBA All-Star Game is actually in a couple of weeks. And they came out with their jerseys, short-sleeve jerseys. And the Pro Bowl has actually a nice little design on it. So with that being said, sports apparel is always key in sports. What brand are you guys comfortable with when you're, playing sports or physical activities?
What's the question? What brand?
Brand of like apparel?
Under Armour.
Under Armour.
That's the way
I
to
like
go.
Adidas and Nike. Ever since I was little, Adidas and Nike have always been my brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played hockey, so I kind of had to go with Under Armour. You know, keeps you warm.
What about Bauer? Isn't Bauer?
I've gone with Bauer for skates and for my
Gloves.
goalie sticks. I use Vaughn for my gloves.
Oh.
And my
You're
my
just all
goalie
over the
pads.
place, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I go with what I think is most comfortable, So Under Armour definitely for underneath everything. I think I'm definitely more along the hockey lines.
What
of
about like casual
brand
wear?
names?
What do you guys like wearing for like sneakers? Jordans, Nike,
Nike definitely have a lot of Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones.
Yeah, I love Air
Keep
Force
us top
Ones.
in my Air
I buy
Force
Payless
Ones.
Yeah.
shoes. Does that count?
Payless.
Yeah, Nike, Asics are nice.
Shaqs.
I remember when I was in high school, I went through a K-Swiss
New
phase.
Balance.
I'd
Actually,
wear a lot of K-Swiss.
Yeah.
now I work at Fenway. I kind of like New Balance. They're a sponsor of Fenway, so they gave us like free shoes and stuff.
Really?
Sure.
Yeah.
On your feet a lot, New Balance.
You guys remember
don't fall over.
Starburys? They had to get rid of them because too many people were getting.
Starburys, I do remember those.
Too many people are breaking ankles.
Yeah. Well, now the problem in the NBA is Adidas are, a lot of
Yeah.
those shoes are tearing
Low
people's
top.
ACLs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like
all right.
John Wall and that.
Next question.
Killer shoes.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
So if you guys had to start a franchise, what league would you guys choose? Where would it be? And what would your team name be?
Ooh.
Wow, that is a great question.
It's deep.
Well, in order of starting a franchise, I'd probably have to go somewhere that isn't already dominated by sports in general. Let's see. I know my college town of Buffalo. They're pretty big in hockey. And
I
they're
know
pretty
Dave's
big.
going hockey.
Yeah, they're pretty big in hockey and they're pretty big in football. I'd probably have to go baseball or basketball. I know back in the old days of the NBA, they had a team. I'd probably go
one.
to Buffalo. and okay, fine. Basketball, because they have the Bisons. They have the AAA or AA team, whatever. I'd probably go basketball in Buffalo, try to, get that going. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of your question? What sport and what city?
Yeah, and then the nickname of the team.
Buffalo Bandits.
Bandits.
That's what we're going with.
I like it.
My college town,
The
Buffalo.
Dirty Bandits.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out to Phoenix one day. I'm gonna buy the Phoenix Coyotes, get them out of the desert, put them in a city up in Canada called Quebec where people actually pay attention to hockey.
Look at you, Dave. You're
Yeah.
all educated about it,
Yeah,
too. I like it.
Here- So I mean, as far as the name goes, I will call them the
The Quacks.
I was gonna actually say the Quebec Ducks, so that but there's already a duck.
quack,
There's already a duck out there.
Quack.
Oh man, if the
Go
Anaheim Ducks
Ducks.
didn't have it already, it
Yeah.
would make sense. So I'll go with the the Quebec Mallards.
I thought you were gonna say the Quebec Quacks.
So, baseball is the second most profitable sport. So I'd go baseball, only because that's my favorite sport.
Always about the money.
No soccer? What's up with you guys?
Ew.
Ew. Okay, first of all, this is the guy that watches the Revs more than any
You're
of
like
us. So.
you're like soccer, gross.
So it would be a baseball team. I put them in Omaha,
Omaha. Why Omaha?
Oh, because Peyton
Oh, because of Peyton
and
Manning?
it'd be the Omaha Mannings.
Omaha.
Why can't you do football and call it Omaha Mannings?
No, because that's too close together.
So people wouldn't be able to figure it out when
Right.
you brought a baseball team to Omaha. and
Yeah.
The
called them
Omaha Mannings.
Yeah, that's definitely distant enough from the.
Co-owned by Archie Manning.
No, they're owned by Papa John's actually.
Co-owned by Papa John's. All right, question 4, guys.
Okay, moving on. Kevin.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Everybody.
Kevin Durant has averaged 39 points per game in his last 9 games. Carmelo Anthony has posted 62 points recently, and Jeff Green recorded 38 points in the victory over the Wizards this past weekend. With that, what was the most impressive performance you guys have seen in all of sports?
Wow, that is a great question. And we're talking single game?
Yeah, and any
I mean,
league.
Kobe's 81 has to be up there.
Yeah,
I
with
mean,
against
even-
the Raptors.
Yeah, the 81
Then again, it was
points.
against the Raptors, so.
Still, though, you
Well,
drop 81
Carmelo
points in the
Anthony's was
game.
against the Bobcats.
You could talk about any of Tom Brady's games where he's thrown for 5 or more touchdowns. Yeah, and I know Tom wants to get in. Tom, go
I
ahead.
need to get in on this. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
Go ahead.
What about Michael Jordan, Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals, the flu game?
The flu game,
The Utah
yeah,
Jazz
against the Jazz.
scored 38, 37 points with a temperature of 105 degrees.
Had to get carried off by Scottie Pippen.
I was 7 years old when I saw that, and even though that, considering that's a very, very young age, I found it remarkable that Michael Jordan could play with the flu and help his team single-handedly get back to Chicago and win the NBA Finals, their 5th NBA championship. That's got to be the greatest performance of all time, single game-wise.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd put that one
That's
up
a
there.
really tough one to beat, too.
He actually sold those shoes recently for like 100 G's.
Did he?
Here's another one that you guys can bring up is Rajon Rondo a couple playoff years ago.
Oh my gosh.
28 points,
Yeah.
18 rebounds, like
Against
15 assists.
What about that?
Something like
yeah.
that. That had to be one of the most
That game
insane
against the Heat he
performances
had,
ever.
too.
44 points against the. There's a lot of single game performances that you could look at. Obviously, Tom Brady has a bunch.
Dave's choosing hockey, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm racking my brain over what the best would be, and all I can think of is Tim Thomas during the Stanley Cup run, and there was just I can't pinpoint it. I guess I would say Game 7 against Tampa Bay in the conference finals
When he had that stick save.
The diving stick save, that was one thing, and that was incredible in and of itself. But that game was 1-0, and the Bruins scored with about 8 minutes left. And Tim Thomas held it down for the shutout, and that's what propelled the Bruins into the finals that year. That is a game that sticks out to me in my memory. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, but Tim Thomas, that whole run was incredible. So
how about
Tim Thomas?
How about in 2010, the day before Dustin Pedroia broke his foot in San Francisco, he had the game of his
3
life.
home runs.
5 for 5 with 3 home runs in
Against
Colorado,
Colorado,
including the
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
The go-ahead home run.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
the
How about
top of the
2004
10th, I think it was.
postseason
Yeah.
for
So, yeah, what's that?
David Ortiz? David Ortiz in the postseason.
Oh
in
my
2004.
goodness! Yeah, Game 2 of the 2013 ALCS, hitting that game-tying grand slam.
Right.
I mean that right there.
Kurt Schilling,
World
the bloody
Series.
sock.
Yeah,
World
this
Series,
past
yeah.
He had
one,
like the 700 batting average.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was insane.
So,
All right,
Brian, David Ortiz is yours.
all right. Next question.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Who was talking about you?
So, as you guys know, the Brooklyn Nets are coming to the TD Garden.
Yes.
So, it's the return of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. What was your most memorable return by a player? It could be a booing moment or a standing ovation type
Probably
of
Johnny
Johnny
Damon. Johnny Damon. Yeah.
Man, Ashish.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we
right
are.
now.
That's like the second time today that we. Yeah, I'd have to say Johnny Damon. I mean, this is probably gonna knock everyone's socks off in
Wait.
terms of emotional
pun intended.
factor. But
What?
yeah,
What about
that's true.
Jacoby Ellsbury this year? That's
Well,
gonna
that
be
hasn't
different.
happened yet in terms
Yeah.
of the ones that have happened. Wes Welker, you could talk about Tim Thomas coming back, Nathan Horton.
Yeah.
But
Phil
Johnny
Kessel.
Damon stands out.
This is where I was thinking Phil Kessel, since he was there was a little more hate for him coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But I can't really remember the first time that Phil Kessel came back to the Garden either.
Yeah, and what about Jacoby Ellsbury coming up? That's going to be...
Right, yeah, Brian just
That'll be
mentioned that. I don't know. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I feel like the rivalry's kind of staved off a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be as much booing going on as when Johnny Damon left. I mean, that was sort of the height of the rivalry when that happened.
The Pink Hatters will boo because they miss his sexy face.
Yeah, I think they will. I don't think the rest of us really care. I mean, 7 years, 153 Yankees, you can have them.
Yeah.
You can have them if
It's
you
too
want.
much.
Yeah, it's way too much. But, yeah, to answer your question, Mark, Johnny Damon, without a doubt for me, is the most memorable return for Boston. I mean, just taking into account
What about
where
Kevin
he went.
Youkilis? That was
Kevin Youkilis, I was actually at that game. I was at the game where Kevin Youkilis came back for the first time, and let me tell you, man.
In a
That was
White
like a
Sox
week
uniform.
later too. It
Yeah,
was like,
well, it wasn't a week. It
was
was,
a
it was later
it was
that
like a
season, but
week
yeah.
or 2 weeks later. It was a short turnaround.
Yeah, and I know you were at that game too, right?
No,
You weren't at that game?
no.
Yeah, but
Working at
see,
Fenway? Oh, that was 2012.
Yeah.
see, they
Okay, yeah.
traded him, so that's why I wouldn't think it would be a big deal. If he moved on from the Red Sox through free agency, then I would say
Guys,
that,
I just realized one that we did not mention. Nomar.
oh, no more. Ooh, no
Nomar.
more.
I was
another
at that
good
game
one.
too. Nomar coming back with the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah.
That gave me goosebumps. I was at that game. I was in tears because all of us who grew up in the 90s, Nomar was the man.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah,
cap
he
this
was.
off,
That trade
I'm
is
going
what-
to the game tomorrow, so I'm going to be in tears when Paul Pierce.
Oh yeah, that's going to be emotional. But I'd have to say, actually, I'm changing my answer. Johnny Damon was it was a great return in the sense that he got booed.
Yeah.
But in terms of just emotional, taking that into account, Nomar coming back.
Well,
would be
that
amazing.
trade actually helped the Red Sox win the World Series.
Well, yeah,
so-
of course that had to happen.
A
but-
guy that left that got my emotions going, and I forget if he actually had a chance in his career to make a return, but Ray Bork when he
Yeah.
left the
Oh,
Bruins.
that's-
And the Bruins did him a favor trading him to the Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado,
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't win the Stanley Cup that first year in Colorado, but then oh my gosh, when he won that Stanley Cup and Joe Sakic didn't even raise it above his head, he gave it straight to Ray Bork. Said, "You take this, buddy. You've
It's
earned
all
it."
you.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh man,
Yeah, that was nice.
what an emotional time.
And
that was.
also another game that I went to before we go on to question 5, Manny coming back with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
a good
one.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
Manny being Manny, I miss him.
No, that's 5 questions.
That's 5 questions.
Aashish.
That's
yeah.
all 5.
That's
yeah,
it.
that's all 5. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought we were on number 4.
Nope. Nope.
See, once again, I can't count.
We always think like that though.
Yeah,
we
this
always
is
want there to be more.
Yeah,
questions.
because I just love all the
Maybe
questions.
we should
Yeah, good.
extend it to like 8.
8 questions.
8 questions.
19 questions.
Just a random
6
number.
questions.
6 questions.
But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, you could take your pick. Any of those, really, Johnny Damon, Nomar, Manny, Ray Bork, as you said, Dave. All these guys. And you know, for both the boos and for the cheers, I mean, Adam Vinatieri coming back with the Colts, Wes Welker coming back with the Broncos.
Adam Vinatieri's a good one. I didn't think of that. But that was more of a standing ovation type of.
No, he was booed.
He was booed?
Adam Vinatieri, when he came back with the Colts, he was booed.
Yeah, but he did everything for that team.
Without Adam Vinatieri, you don't have 3 rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there's no doubt about it. I mean, like,
Bad booing.
so much. Yeah, a lot
Patriots
of that.
fans.
Patriots fans just don't know what's up.
Anyways, that was 5 questions with Mark. Who has it next week?
It's Brian. Right?
Oh, Brian's pointing at me. No, I have it. No, Dave.
No,
Dave
I already
was the
did it.
first one, so
Dave
I
got
got,
one.
I got
Brian's
5
just
questions.
pointing.
I
We're
got
going-
something.
We're going out of
I
order
got some.
right
Yeah,
now.
I got something for you guys next week. Anyways, that was
Nice.
5
Sweet.
questions here on the
Yep.
Sports Blast.
Super Bowl related.
We will, yeah, and very fitting. We'll be coming back and talking about Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett right here on the Sports Blast after this break. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Omar Reeves with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Richard Sherman says he was just giving the 49ers a Reggie Miller tribute when he flashed the choke sign after clinching the Seahawks trip to the Super Bowl. While he doesn't regret the gesture, the league did find the star corner almost $8,000 for the move. As much as the Legion of Boom can lower the boom, don't expect Seattle's secondary to fight fire with fire. While they say they are ready for Denver's pick plays, now made famous by Wes Welker's hit on Aqib Talib, Cam Chancellor says if someone is trying to come and hit him, he'll try to be athletic and get around him. Tight end Jimmy Graham says he won't be happy if the Saints end up franchise tagging him this offseason after Saints general manager Mickey Loomis said he does plan on using the franchise tag if they can't reach a deal on a long-term contract. NFL Network has you covered for all the festivities in New York. Don't miss Super Bowl Live at Media Day. We'll be there live Tuesday for both teams beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Do you have a used musical instrument at home gathering dust? Guitar Center's experts are interested in buying it from you for cash. You don't even need to be a musician. Look in attics and basements because we're buying qualified guitars, amps, pedals, keyboards, drums, and more. It's the Trade-In Expo at your local Guitar Center now through Sunday. Looking to upgrade? We'll pay cash for qualified used gear and give you a 15% discount on new gear. You can even trade gear. Find details in your local store at guitarcenter.com.
How to get an amazing deal on a great used car. Start with the most durable, longest-lasting brand in its class. Have it thoroughly inspected by a trained technician and reconditioned to meet Honda certified standards. And you've got yourself a certified pre-owned Honda. Find the one that's right for you at hondacertified.com. Durability based on longevity. Longevity based on Polk U.S. vehicles in operation registration statistics 1988 through 2012 for Honda and competing brands.
ESPN New Hampshire and Apple Therapy have teamed up to search for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Year. One lucky senior boy and one senior girl will be awarded a $2,500 scholarship at the end of the school year. To find out how your son or daughter can be nominated, log on to espnnewhampshire.com and be listening for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
Phil Perrin of Pinkerton Academy is our Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week. Phil was a member of the state champion Astros cross-country team in the fall. With snow on the ground, Phil has brought his talents indoors to run track for the winter. He is often asked which season he prefers.
I have to go with cross-country, only because I'm a bigger fan of the distance, and I don't have as much speed. And with on our cross-country season, our team, it wasn't like sprinters and jumpers and long distance. It was just one kind of team, and we were one big family, and we really got together and worked well to push through the season.
Phil not only challenges himself on the track, but also in the classroom. He is a true New Hampshire scholar who enjoys a wide range of subjects at Pinkerton.
So, pretty good as a student. Most of my classes are just about A-level. I think there's 2 B-level classes. And in terms of favorites, I'd have to go with, like, physics, psychology, and ROTC.
For Phil, the sky is the limit. He has an opportunity to pursue several different paths in several different fields. His top priority at this point is to continue his education.
Looking to go to college. Probably going to pursue a degree in either physics or chemistry with a minor in education.
Anywhere in particular jumping out?
So far, team's a big one I'm looking at.
Phil is now eligible to become one of the monthly winners. At the end of the year, Apple Therapy and ESPN New Hampshire will present one lucky senior boy and one senior girl with a $2,500 scholarship. Log on to espnnewhampshire.com to nominate your son or daughter today.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communication between you and your physicians and therapists for your peace of mind. You can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Londonderry, Manchester, and Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com.
With the 10th pick in the 1998 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Paul Pierce from the University of Kansas. Captain Paul Pierce. The newest member of the Boston Celtics, Kevin Garnett.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible! And the 2008 NBA champion, for the 17th time a record, your Boston Celtics. 4.5 rebounds a game, over 6 assists. It is the truth. The MVP of the 2008 NBA Finals is Paul Pierce. 20,000 points for Paul Pierce.
We were just talking about that. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett will make their return to the TD Garden tomorrow as for the first time since being traded to the Brooklyn Nets. And there's no doubt it's going to be emotional, guys. We were just talking about emotional returns and how Kevin Youkilis's return was emotional and Nomar Garciaparra. I think this one's going to stack right up next to those as just one of the most emotional events you'll ever see.
It was like when Doc Rivers came back.
This is going to be even better. This is Paul Pierce.
Speaking of another emotional moment, we actually had a texter that text, Cal Ripken's last All-Star game was awesome. Jeter switched positions to third and giving Cal short. Cal hits a home run.
I think, wasn't that A-Rod that switched with Cal Ripken Jr.?
Was it?
It was either A-Rod or Jeter. I do remember that Cal Ripken Jr. was playing third in the All-Star game.
Right.
And someone switched with him. The shortstop switched, I believe, and I could be mistaken. I believe it was A-Rod. I know what he's talking about. I think it was Alex Rodriguez.
An A-bomb from A-Rod.
Fitting.
Yeah, I maybe the texter's right, but I thought it was A-Rod. But yeah, that was also a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
But Mark, you're actually going to the game tomorrow, aren't you?
Going, yep.
Try not to cry.
Bringing my Kleenex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be special. I mean,
it's gonna be a moment unlike no other. Yeah.
I mean, you talk about what these guys have meant to the franchise over the years, and not to take anything away from KG, but Paul Pierce getting drafted in 1998, being the captain for as long as he did, going through all those turbulent years, sticking with this team, almost forcing his way out of town. Then getting Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and winning a championship and going to another NBA Finals. There's a lot. I mean, he's going to be a Celtic for life. I mean, in his heart. I mean, yeah, he's no longer with the franchise. Now he's with the Brooklyn Nets. But there's no doubt about it that he will go down as one of the greatest Celtics ever.
The Celtics' history was rich before these guys came, but they just continued to train, just continue the momentum of being a successful franchise and a winning franchise. And they're probably the most winning franchise in the NBA with the Los Angeles Lakers.
And I think what they did, and it's important, is they created a little bit of modern history for this team because, let's be honest, it had been a while. There was a very long span of time when the Celtics were in the dumps.
Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
And that was That's something, again, Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker, when those two were on the team.
They were pretty good.
You kind of think, hey, maybe they're there, they're on the edge, but they weren't a championship caliber team.
Right.
And really with the history that the Celtics have, being the winningest basketball teams in terms of championships in the history of the league, you want to create a little bit of modern history, and that's what Paul Pierce brought here.
And they brought back another big three into play.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. It was, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and
Bird.
Bird, yeah.
Yeah, and you go back to the early years with Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce. They always found themselves a couple wins away from the finals. I remember in 2002 they went up against Jason Kidd and the Nets, and they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think that went 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, when Pierce
right.
stood up on the scores table and just
they were right there multiple
Yeah.
times. There was that epic series in that same 2001, 2002 against the Pacers, where they were down by a lot and they came back, and same with the Nets. They were down 20 in the fourth quarter, and then they showed that underdog mentality that no one believes in you, that you're not going to quit, and they came within a win of going to the NBA Finals.
The big three comeback too against the
Lakers.
Lakers.
24-point comeback. It was in the third quarter? It was 24 points or something like that.
And then it was like 15 or something in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter too.
My dad turned off the TV. I had to go and wake him up because I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, Dad, you gotta see what's going on here. You're missing out.
No, it's gonna be emotional. I'm sure they'll have a big video tribute for both Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be special. I mean, you look at
deserved.
You look at when Kendrick Perkins came back and the emotional tribute he got. Obviously, a fan favorite. Can you imagine what it's gonna be for Paul Pierce and Kevin
Doc
Garnett?
Rivers one was, touching too. I mean, I shed a tear. I'm not gonna lie. Doc has meant the world to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Producing modern success.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett is gonna be even bigger. They might give the mic to Paul Pierce just to say a few words to the crowd and the coaches. Yeah,
I mean, it's great when a coach comes back, but something about the players, obviously, you see them out there on the court, and it's great that Pierce won while he was here. That's kind of the thing that I look back to is there was potential that Paul Pierce never won anything here in Boston. And if you don't have Doc Rivers, if you don't have KG, if you didn't go out and get Ray Allen, he may have never won anything here. But, him being the centerpiece for such a long time and then coming to that point where we had the big three and we had Doc Rivers, good that he got the championship under his belt here while he was in Boston, because I think it just puts a staple on Pierce's legacy more than anything, as well as Kevin Garnett's legacy here in Boston. Those two will always be remembered.
That NBA championship meant the world to Paul Pierce. When he went through with college, with his downside when he got stabbed at a club.
Yeah.
That was once he was he already was drafted by the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think he was 1 year into his career, but he got stabbed.
He's been through hell and back.
Yeah.
Hell and back, and he's
physically, emotionally.
He's on cloud 9 when they won that championship and he won MVP. Cloud 9 it's understatement.
That was the series where he came back from
that leg injury.
The leg injury and came back at halftime and everyone started cheering.
Yeah, it was literally, I think in the third quarter he just walked right back out 10 minutes later. And I think one lasting memory that I'll have of Paul Pierce is the turnaround that he had. He kind of for a while was like John Lackey in this town. I remember there was one time where, I can't remember the context, it was in the playoffs or in the regular season, where he was getting booed at the Garden, showered with boos. Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
And the turnaround that
he wanted to be traded at some point.
And I remember he almost kind of taunted the crowd in the sense that he put his arms up and he was like, yeah, come on, continue booing me. You guys remember that?
Yep.
And just the way he's remembered now and the standing ovation he'll get when he comes back.
But going back
it's going to give us goosebumps.
Going back to Brian's point when he went down in that third quarter, they actually showed footage of him in a wheelchair going back to the locker room, and everybody was down the water. And then all of a sudden, it was just
he came storming out. Yeah,
it was that was probably the most amazing.
And you
moment
kind of wonder the kind
that's
of
what
run,
leaders do, man.
You kind of wonder the kind of run that the Celtics could have made the year after they won the championship. Remember, Kevin Garnett was lost for the playoffs, and really the second half of that season after straining his MCL or tearing a ligament in his knee. I mean, they had a hell of a series against the Bulls where they went 7.
Kendrick Perkins, man, when he went down, they should have had another championship.
Yeah, in 2010 even.
Yeah.
So they could have had a couple titles, but they didn't.
I loved when
unfortunate. So
he sent like kisses to the crowd after like he made a big 3. I think it was against the Heat. So
and I love how people criticize Doc Rivers for only having 1 championship title.
Yep.
You talk about those injuries. Those injuries were so huge. Rondo going down, Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Garnett going down midseason. It was just a tough break. It was really a tough break. It was bad luck.
So talking about the current Celtics captain, Rajon Rondo, apparently Danny Ainge was on Toucher and Rich, the morning show at 98.5 The Sports Hub, and they were talking about possibly extending Rajon Rondo. Here's the quote. "We did talk to Rondo about extending him, but that's all part of the negotiation that will happen again this summer and most likely the summer after. I don't know if he will sign an extension. Time will tell." Now, there's 2 ways of looking at this, guys. One way is that the Celtics are really committed to Rajon Rondo long term. The other is, hey, he's going to be a free agent after next year. If we really want to sweeten his trade value, let's give him an extension. Let's sign him to a deal long term so that if you're a potential suitor, you see that Rondo's under contract for a few years, you might be willing to give up a lot more. I think it's the latter. I think they are setting him up for a trade.
It's not only that. When you give a guy like Rondo leadership in a locker room and on the field, you're actually boosting his confidence and actually making him play better. So not only does his trade value go up by that, but like you said, if he keeps playing up to par, unlike Derrick Rose going out after stepping on the court for about a week and then tearing his ACL again, Rondo has it going on. Does he get the extension? I don't know, honestly. I think he's worth it, but I don't know if he does.
Do you think that the Celtics really have like a plan set right now, or I mean, can't they? If I'm the Celtics, I'm looking at it like this: you've got Rondo, you can create a deal surrounding him that maybe bring in a couple of players using Rondo as a trade chip, or you see how it goes with some of your younger players. Maybe you can actually package a couple of picks and a couple of your young guys after you showcase them, and you can get some good talent to surround Rondo. So maybe the Celtics don't have a plan yet. Maybe they kind of want to see where all the chips fall before
and also
they
see
make a
how
decision
the
on Rondo.
NBA draft's gonna be and
Right.
who wants to leave their teams. Like Kevin Love would make a nice.
Kevin Love
option.
is a guy that I'd really love to have here, and I think one thing we've learned about Danny Ainge over the years is he's not afraid to trade guys. We've seen that with Kendrick Perkins. We've seen that obviously most recently with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. He's not afraid to let guys go.
Delonte West, Gerald Green.
If he thinks Rondo is the cornerstone moving forward, I feel like Jared Sullinger, Avery Bradley, like we said last week.
Olynyk.
Yeah, Tom said Jared Sullinger is not expendable. But if you're going to keep Rondo, you're going to have to trade some value. And so Sullinger's right up there, Avery Bradley.
Right.
No,
and
I would keep Sullinger.
I'd keep Sullinger as well.
I know you tried to, but say you want Kevin Love.
Yeah, then I'd give
you're
him
going to
up for
have
Kevin
to
Love.
give up Jared Sullinger.
Look, I know Brian's smirking over there, but
I wouldn't do that.
For Kevin Love, you're not going to give up straight up? That's not going to happen. You'd have to give up. You'd have to give up more than Jared Sullinger if you want to get Kevin Love. But
yeah, no, I agree with Dave though. There are so many possibilities that they can go to. The draft is going to help them, sort of. I really feel like the free agent market and the trade market has to come into play.
And here's the thing. It's a win-win for Danny Ainge if you sign Rondo to an extension because on the one hand, you can keep him long-term if you intend to. And on the other hand, like I said, you sweeten his contract for a potential suitor. And you're paying him less than what the market would. If Rajon Rondo hits the open market, he's going to get a max contract from somebody.
And he Danny Ainge kind of referenced that Rondo would get star money. So that's a statement saying Rondo is better than the package that I'm getting from any of these teams right now.
Would you spend $15 million per season on Rondo?
Yeah, I would because this year he's making $12 million. Next year he's making $13 million.
I give him 5 years, $75 million.
Yeah, I think $15 million is. I wouldn't call it a bargain, but I'd say that's reasonable.
Well, yeah. Well, if you look at the other top point guards, Chris Paul is making 18.6. Darren Williams is making 18. So. I mean,
and he got way in the injury, the ACL. So
look, Rajon Rondo, when healthy, is one of the best point guards in the game. The one knock that we have on him is A, he can't shoot, and B, most times he's not even a scorer. Like you talk about, okay, he can score in the paint. He can't shoot the ball. He can't score. He is a pass-first point guard. which is fine. That's dictated by his position.
He kind of reminds me of Tom Brady in a way. Like, Tom Brady comes up in clutch moments. Rondo comes up in clutch moments. Against Philadelphia 76ers, he had what? 3 back-to-back
Right,
pointers?
but see, the thing is, he's not going to do that on a regular basis. He's not going to be a scorer like that on a regular basis. You have to surround him with quality talent that can get the job done when they get the ball.
And that's why why it was so good with the big three with Paul Pierce.
Exactly. I mean, you look at what he's done with Chris Humphries. Chris Humphries looks like a star some nights because Rajon Rondo is setting him up.
He's a walking
with really
double-double.
And here's the thing about Brandon Bass. I remember last year when Rondo went down, Bass started struggling because he is a guy that relies on the pick and pop. He sets the screen, he gets the ball back from Rondo, he drains it. That's his game. When Rondo went down, Brandon Bass couldn't do that anymore.
And I'm tired of hearing that players play bad because they're tradable. It's a business, and like with Brandon Bass, he's underperforming because he's out on the market. He's like wondering where he's going to go next. You know, you look at Marshawn Brooks and Jordan Crawford. Marshawn Brooks was with the Celtics for like, I don't know, 50,
half a season.
Yeah, half a season.
Less.
Yeah, and Jordan Crawford, he played good, but he didn't play well consistently, so that's why they traded him.
No, I think they traded him because they wanted to get rid of the depth that would have helped them win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a big thing, yeah.
That's why they
want to give
Crawford.
Phil Presley some playing time, which Phil Presley's been playing dirty.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like Chris Johnson from what we've seen from him.
Yeah.
He's been a very good role player. But, yeah, no, I mean, it's open for interpretation what the Celtics intend to do with Rondo. Obviously, that's something we'll keep an eye on as the season progresses. Last break of the afternoon here. We'll be coming back with the blast-off right here on the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire.
Life can hit you with the unexpected. The loss of a job, a sudden illness, a dramatic jump in your mortgage payment, leaving you feeling helpless, forcing you to make difficult decisions. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, are worried about financial problems, or are afraid of foreclosure, it's time to take control. You don't have to lose your home. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling can help. Seek advice from our certified housing counselors today. Call us at 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling. Real solutions for real people.
The National Foundation for Credit Counseling is a nonprofit organization that has been providing financial counseling and education for 60 years. Our national network of member agencies have helped millions of consumers with foreclosure prevention. NFCC member agencies are approved by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Do you search the house for hidden bottles of alcohol? Do you feel like a failure because you can't get a problem drinker to quit? Do you care about someone who seems to care more about drinking than anything else? Do you think if the drinker stopped drinking, your other problems would be solved? Living with a problem drinker can be scary and lonely, but no one has to face such stressful problems all alone. Local Al-Anon family groups can help. Women and men who have experienced the same difficulties are willing to share what worked for them. There is hope and help in Al-Anon family groups for anyone who has been affected by someone else's drinking. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. For more information, go to alanonfamilygroups.org or call 1-888-4-AL-ANON to find an Al-Anon meeting near you.
What if you got rewarded for every good decision? What if your heart had a special way of letting you know it appreciates your healthy choices?
I've got to get my family to eat more vegetables.
Amazing!
And instead of cooking with butter tonight, I think I'll saute our veggies with heart-healthy oil.
You're a genius! So really, would your food choices pay off in heart health? Did you know that when you replace bad fats with healthier fats, like those in canola or other vegetable oils, it can lower bad cholesterol levels, and that's good for your heart. Here's a winning idea. Take up the challenge for good health, because the you of the future will say,
Fantastic!
Learn more at heart.org/facethefats. Canola Info proudly supports the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
T-minus 15.
We will go out with bang.
Time now for blast off.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Good things must come to an end. Approaching stage 2 burnout at 115 seconds, followed by a 20-second close phase. Stage 2 separation at
Lay it on the line to the final whistle blows. Only for ESPN watchers.
Stage motor pressure is nominal. Vehicle attitude and flight path are nominal. Separation is confirmed.
We will not go quietly into the night. This ends now! The Sports Blast, every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
All right, final segment here on the Sports Blast. It is the Blast Off. Remember, you can call in at 603-883-9900 or text us at 50352. I want to get started here on the Blast Off by talking about our picks from last week, our weekly picks. I had a good week. I think Mark did too.
Yeah, we did.
Dave, I think that was a swing and a miss on your part.
Went 0-2.
And Brian, I think you went 1 for 2.
1-1. Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
Everybody has bumps in the road. Like, you started off weak. And
Yeah,
then
I did.
I had my 0-4 weekend, and then you guys just had
That was
yours.
wild card weekend for you.
Yeah, wild card weekend. That was tough.
Yeah, so the standings updated. Just for the record, I predicted the Super Bowl to be Seattle and Denver, so I'm glad I did that. I think Mark did too, right?
Yeah, I
you,
did.
you predicted
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So Brian is in first place, 46-28.
We're coming for you, Brian.
Right. Mark and I are right on his heels. We're 45-29, and Dave is in last, 44-30, but very close. 44-30 is not that far off. It's a very tight race here.
Well, I believe the only way that I can come back is
Bonus
to
points.
get the bonus points,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
to
so
call
how's
the
that gonna work
final
again?
score.
How's the bonus points
I would
work?
have to call the final score of the Super Bowl, I believe.
Watch Dave win.
You guys just
What's
wait.
the prize? What are we giving?
I don't know. We haven't really thought that through.
Yeah.
You can text us. Text
Pride.
us your ideas for
Pride.
50352.
Yeah, sounds good.
What would you like the
mostly
prize
bragging
to be?
rights.
Bragging rights. We didn't really think that one
I
through.
can't wait. We're definitely gonna do a March Madness bracket.
Oh, for sure. I want
Oh,
Warren
yeah.
Buffett to double check my bracket because it's gonna be
$1
perfect.
billion.
That's crazy. I mean, what are you gonna do with $1 billion if you end up winning?
Hey, didn't we discuss that last week?
Yeah, we
Same
did.
amount of
Yeah.
money?
I know. Mark would buy 10 or 11 of those houses from Blank Check.
Yeah, we were talking about $30 million last time.
$1 billion,
With
though.
$1 billion? Oh my God! I'd buy 3 islands with only
I'd
the
buy the
water
Red
slide
Sox.
mansions.
Yes.
Yeah, you could buy a professional sports team with $1 billion.
I'm going to your island, Dave.
Yeah, you can come. Anyone can. Cause
I'll be like
that's
John
just the
Henry.
way
Can
it
I have
is.
the Globe and the Red Sox?
Yeah.
I'd buy the Globe, so John Henry doesn't have it anymore. I just love how the Globe is now owned by John Henry, which essentially means John Henry is Dan Shaughnessy's boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really funny to me.
Yeah. So don't screw it up, Dan.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, what are you writing? Oh, you're writing about how the Red Sox suck, huh?
That's funny.
I think we're not gonna post that this week.
What? David Ortiz took steroids?
What's going on here?
So, what else is on tap other than the Pro Bowl? We got the Super Bowl next week. Sochi, the Olympics. Don't they start next week as well?
The opening ceremonies are on Friday.
Ooh,
Wait, I
nice.
thought the opening ceremonies were February 7th.
That's Friday,
That's Friday.
right?
Really? No, today's the
No, I'm sorry. Next
Today's
week
the
is
25th.
No, so two weekends from now.
Wait a minute. Then yes, 2 weekends from
Okay,
now.
so
2
2
weekends.
weekends from now.
But it's a Friday.
It is a
Right,
Friday.
it is
Yeah,
a
I'm looking at my
Friday.
calendar. That's February 7th.
It is
so
a Friday.
So that's all that matters.
So yeah, off the air, Mark was telling me that they're taking every precaution to make sure that the games are safe. He said that they're putting Navy ships.
Yeah,
Around
on the
it.
border of Russia to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
they're sending like a lot of like Navy and Marines into Sochi too with
Yeah.
the Olympic athletes.
Yes.
Because a lot of stuff's going on around there.
Because in Russia, if we don't get all gold medal, we
We bomb.
destroy everything.
We
That's a
bomb.
really good Russian accent.
That was.
Can you
I'm
do
a
the guy
Russian-
from
I'm
Rocky?
Russian.
I don't know. I don't actually. I don't think I can do the guy from Rocky. But in Russia, we get all wins, all gold medal come to Russia. Alex Ovechkin be MVP of all tournaments in Russia.
I think we have a
That's
new
really
Dave
good.
soundbite
Yeah.
that we're gonna
I
make.
believe everything everyone tells me anyway.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean, It's gonna be entertaining. As I know what other than hockey, what Dave's gonna be watching as well as Brian. They're gonna be watching curling. Which they love. And, I'll probably be watching bobsledding. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Bobsledding's great too. Yeah.
I want to see Sean White get a couple of gold medals.
Yeah. Sean White.
Women's bobsledding with Lolo Jones. That's where it's
Lolo
at.
Jones.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know their names. I just see the bobsleds.
Yeah.
I'll bring up a picture.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So gonna be a pretty entertaining week next week and the following weeks.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Super Bowl as well. Who you guys taking in the Super Bowl, by the way?
We can't do that yet.
Oh, we can't.
Are we waiting? Do we have to
Are
wait
we
until
waiting?
next week?
Let's
I mean,
wait.
I want to wait.
I want
You
to
wanna
wait.
let's wait.
I
We'll
gotta
wait to
think.
pick.
Yeah, I gotta think it through. I just hope Peyton Manning loses. I don't want him to gain ground in Tom Brady.
So we
that's
know
it.
who you're going after.
Yeah, no, I never said I was picking the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just hoping.
Well, we can
I
talk
picked the
about
Broncos.
we can talk about the matchup for a second here because it is the best offense against the best defense in the entire league. Broncos average 457.3 yards per game, whereas the Seattle Seahawks defense only allows 273.6 yards per game. And passing, the Broncos get 340.2 passing yards per game.
Yeah, they're not going to get that.
Yeah, but against the
Seahawks.
Seahawks defense,
No way.
the Seahawks allow 172 passing
The
yards per
Seahawks
game.
also score 14 points per game.
No,
right?
they
They
allow
allow
14.
14.
Oh, they allow
points per game.
14.
14.4
Whereas
points per
Denver
game.
has put up 37.9 points per game.
Best offense versus best
That's
defense.
really what it is. So what it comes down, the X factors, really. What are the X factors
Percy Harvin.
in the game?
Yeah, Percy Harvin is active for this game,
Mm-hmm.
so that might change things. Russell Wilson has an extra target that he didn't before.
Very well could change
And
that.
Marshawn Lynch may go off again. Beast
Oh,
mode.
Oh, he's going to throw Skittles all over the
He
place.
might,
yeah,
he might
and
run into
Taste
pot
my
roast.
rainbow.
Pot roast is not stopping Marshawn Lynch.
Pot roast will jingle like
Pot
like,
roast.
oh.
Pot roast. Taste my rainbow.
There's honestly no type of home field advantage here because
No.
both teams play out west. So, I mean, I wonder who's going to have a higher concentration of fans out at the Super Bowl.
I'm assuming
Seattle
it'll
or
probably be
Denver?
split. It'll be pretty even.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a bunch of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Just like yelling like,
New York
we
Jets
like Eli
fans.
Manning better. What are you doing here, Peyton?
Get out of here, big brother.
Probably
Peyton.
a lot of Patriots fans too that
Yeah.
thought the Pats could make it to the Super Bowl. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
would have had a distinct home field advantage had the Patriots actually beaten the Broncos.
That would
I
have
wonder
been,
if the
I think
Jets
that would have been
fans
a
are going
fun.
to be there.
Yeah, who knows? You
With
might
Rex
have
Ryan,
Jets
yeah.
fans there that are rooting
Give
for.
them something to watch
Yeah,
football-wise this late in the season.
Rex
'cause-
Ryan might need his footsies.
yeah, you might have Jets fans rooting for the Broncos because. I see what you did there, Mark. No, you might
thrill of
see
victory
yeah,
and
you
the
might,
agony
You might
of
see Jets
defeat.
fans there rooting for Peyton Manning to catch up to Eli.
I still love that press conference Wes Welker had like before that
the
game.
29-foot references or something like that.
Belichick's pissed
Yeah,
about
you get
that.
benched.
He
See,
was
that's kind of
pissed.
where the bad blood started. You know, he
Yeah.
benched him for a drive, and then Wes Welker drops a catch
that
in the
was
Super
stupid
Bowl.
on
and
his part to bench Wes Welker for the opening drive.
it was kind of like
You know-
putting Brandon Spikes on IR when he could have played.
Belichick could be a
friends.
football coach if they started a football team in Russia too.
yeah.
In Russia, you make joke before game, we sit you down.
for just one drive.
With that
For-
move,
for
with that
eternity.
move though, I felt like Belichick was kind of protecting Rex Ryan, which I found like
No, it wasn't that he was protecting Rex
yeah,
Rex
no,
Ryan.
he
He
was
just has
causing
this
media,
policy.
media
Yeah.
attention and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
Then why do you bring Tim Tebow to town?
Who knows?
there's a lot of questions.
That is a mystery that will never be solved.
I just don't understand what that move was.
I think it was to
gosh.
bring good light to the team with the Hernandez situation going on. Be like, oh, God's here.
that was no, but they signed Tim Tebow before Hernandez.
God is enough.
They already knew.
God is-
Yeah, I mean, that's just wow.
My singing
Aaron
voice
Hernandez.
is
I mean,
awful,
who?
but-
How could you have anticipated a guy to get accused and charged with first-degree murder and get linked to a double homicide in 2012?
Well, that was his
I mean,
fault.
What?
That probably was him.
That was. They have evidence that it. That
Well,
he
they
was the
haven't
trigger man.
proved anything yet.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Guys, I think he's gonna have a slap on the wrist and he's gonna walk away.
Aaron
And he's gonna
Hernandez.
return to the Patriots.
You know,
Oh, man.
you know where he's going?
No
he's going
way.
to Miami.
No, we don't want
He's
him.
going to
You
Miami.
should go to Detroit, play with all the other convicts they have on that team.
Oh, Dominic Sue.
No,
Well,
it's
Ndamukong Suh doesn't have a
Cincinnati-
criminal record. He's just
Cincinnati
Well, I know,
Bengals.
but-
he's just a dirty player.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Aaron
the
Hernandez
Bengals
will like
as well.
like bring his Glock, you know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Don't forget Cincy. You got Pac-Man Jones, Henry, when he was alive, he actually did some DUIs, so they're a bad organization too.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you do? But no, going back to Sochi, how do you think this is going to affect the Bruins? Zdeno Chara missing a couple games to go and be the flag bearer?
Yeah, I believe he's taken off 2 games to go to Sochi and hold the flag for Slovakia. I don't like it. I don't like that Chara's doing it.
Well, he had a power play goal today,
it.
so it kind of works out.
Well, here's my take on that.
They're up 2-0 against the Flyers, by the way.
Does Slovakia pay Zdeno Chara to play hockey?
I don't think you're paid. No.
Absolutely
No,
not.
yeah.
I thought
so
Olympic
the
athletes
Bruins,
were played.
the
Well,
Bruins
they're not
do.
paid.
The Bruins pay him
It should
to play hockey. He should be there for the 2 games he's
Right,
going to
but
miss.
this is for his country.
Which is why I understand from Chara's standpoint, it's a high honor, and I get that he wants to go and do it. I can see from a Bruins standpoint why the Bruins would be ticked off as well.
Well, the other thing is he's a flag bearer,
Right.
so he has to make a good impression on the country instead of leaving.
It could be the flag that is highest in the air too.
Oh, and I did some research. Slovakian basketball players in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Goran Dragic.
Oh, I love him.
Dragic.
And Dragic's brother.
Phoenix-
and then
Phoenix
I like
Suns,
Goran
right?
Dragic. He looks like Shia LaBeouf.
And then Nakbar.
Shia LaBeouf.
Was it Nakbar?
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf?
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Was it Nakbar?
Who's this player?
Nakbar. I forget his first name, but
Not sure.
Nazar Muhammad?
I have no
You got me thinking about Shia LaBeouf now too, because I saw a video on TMZ of him getting his ass kicked in Canada one night. Started a fight. Started a fight with somebody. Got his
Megan
ass
Fox.
I can't understand these celebrities. I mean, Justin Bieber, didn't he?
Oh my gosh,
he got
he
arrested
had a
for
crazy
drag
week.
racing and DUI.
Oh, did you hear
Unbelievable.
about the passenger? What she was
No.
doing?
Yeah,
Oh,
she was
wait,
doing
can we say it
no-
on the air?
No.
Okay, no. Let's not
Okay.
go there. I didn't hear that
Who
part.
was the passenger though?
It was like a supermodel.
Yep.
Okay, well,
Good. Props.
yeah.
to him.
Let's just leave that conversation right there. But-
Props to him. Props to him.
I hate Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Can't
don't
stand
understand
him.
that kid.
Justin
He quit his
Bieber.
music career and now he's just like
He quit his music career.
Yeah,
Thank God.
he's running around
retired.
to malls, peeing in janitors' buckets.
Yeah, I don't
and
understand.
Taking
got-
his Ferrari out.
Miley
for 100
Cyrus
mile an hour
and Justin
spins.
Bieber and
My
what does
gosh.
America come to?
He's got his own Bieber fever.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? His mugshot kind of looks like Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
they're the same person.
Their haircut kind of looks
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's trying to look more like the other one, but I mean,
See, that's what America's come to. We talk about Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus on sports radio.
yeah.
Canada.
That's right. That's right. He is Canadian.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber. I forgot about that.
Drake's
Of course he is.
Canadian.
A lot
Drake
of
is
good
Canadian. He's from
performers are
Toronto.
Canadian.
Drake is
Yep,
actually
Drake.
part Jewish too.
Hey, let's not forget Celine Dion,
Celine Dion.
also Canadian. Avril Lavigne is Canadian.
Yes.
Avril, really?
Ryan
Avril
Ryan
Lavigne?
Reynolds is Canadian.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. A lot of great performers are Canadian.
Oh,
A lot of
Ryan
great
Stiles,
comedians are Canadian,
Ryan
too.
Stiles and
And Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
one of my favorite shows of all
I
time.
can't wait till it comes back again.
Those
It's
guys,
already-
those
it's
guys
summer.
are funny.
It's been
It's
back.
back on.
It's been
Well,
back.
I know, but like
Aisha Tyler.
like the new season.
Wayne
That-
Brady.
no, that's what I'm
Still
saying.
funny.
Oh, you mean
Still
like the
funny.
next season?
They ended the season like
Was
in
it the
September, and then
is it
it's
the
gonna come
hoedown?
back in the
That
summer.
show. The hoedown.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hoedown.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the funniest segments.
My
ever
favorite
on
is
that show.
Scenes in a Hat. Like
Season a Hat is
Oh,
great.
yeah. But I like the one where they have to use one word. when
Yeah, they just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, the
You know-
three-headed
you know,
Broadway
you know,
stuff.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
really love? The film dub. When
Oh,
they
yeah.
play a movie, like it's like,
Yeah.
and then they
It's
have
like-
to. I just love the one where Wayne is just like, "I will punch you so quick, like that." Ah, that's one of the best ones ever.
I like Brian Stiles because he gets into it. And he's like, oh, I'm trapped in a tank with sharks everywhere.
You know, I'm gonna go back and watch the Whose Line now. That's one of the
I'm
funniest shows
so
I've ever
down.
seen.
Let's just do it on the way home.
We should
Yeah,
we should watch the bad lip reading NFL thing after this.
Yeah, we
That
will.
was hilarious
Yeah,
too.
that
Although
was-
the first one was funnier than the new one.
I
Really?
like the new one because
Really?
it has like clips from this season. You know.
But so did last year. Orange
Omaha.
peanut.
Omaha.
Orange peanut. For me, wow, I accept you. You know, someone actually gave him a giant orange peanut, an inflatable orange peanut this year because of it. Adrian Peterson.
Probably a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Probably.
Throwing food at him.
Oh, man. Well, anyways, that was our show, The Sports Blast, here on ESPN New Hampshire. Remember, you can check us out every Saturday, 11 a.m., to 2 p.m. and also get that ESPN radio app. You can take us wherever you go. You can download it on your Android or iPhone.
I apologize for my...
Yeah, same. I'm still sick. But anyways, we got to get out of here. We'll see you next week.
For primary care insurance.